Hi, welcome to a video tutorial brought to you by LearnHowToScreenPrint.com. In today's video, we're going to show you the process of converting a drawing into a vector artwork inside Adobe Illustrator for screen printing. Let's go ahead and get started. We have Adobe Illustrator open here, and the first step we need to do is to create a new file. So click File, New, and we're going to name this Skull, since that is what we are going to be changing into vector artwork. Okay, we have the width set to 8 inches, the height to 10. You can go ahead and change that to whatever size you're going to need the graphic on the t-shirt. And the color mode, RGB. Always make sure you're working in RGB color mode. It creates better film positives. And raster effects. Resolution, 300 DPI. The higher the DPI, the better the resolution in the image. 300, that's exactly where you want to be. I wouldn't necessarily go anything over 300, and I sure don't like going under 300 for screen printing. Okay, let's go ahead and click OK. And we have the art board open here, 8 inches wide by 10 inches tall. Okay, so the first step we need to do is open up the layers panel. We're going to go ahead and place the scanned drawing on this layers panel. So click File, Place, and you'll have to locate the scanned image or drawing on your computer, wherever that may be. We have ours right here in Scans. Let's go ahead and click that. Click Place. So now the skull is inside Adobe Illustrator on layer 1. We're going to go ahead and resize this, make it a little bit smaller. Actually, we'll keep it the same size. I think we'll keep it the same size, yeah. So let's go ahead and lock layer 1. And so layer 1 is no longer able to be written on, drawn on, edited in any way, since it is locked. And let's go ahead and hide the artboard. That way that's not distracting us. Let's create a new layer on top of layer 1. We'll zoom into the skull here. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and just use the blob brush tool to trace the outline of the skull. So we'll change the the fill to black, and the stroke, change that to none. And let's go ahead and get started tracing the outlines of the skull. The blob brush tool, it's pretty comparable to drawing with a marker. Okay, so let's just go ahead and trace the outlines of everything that is on the skull. We're going to trace the whole outline of the skull, and we're going to keep that on layer 2, but then we're going to select everything, the whole outline of the skull, and we're going to paste that on a couple different layers right in front of each other. And that way we can use the live paint bucket tool and fill each one of them in, and we can kind of get an idea of an experiment with the different colors that we want to use in the design. I'll show you exactly what I mean here in a minute. Let's go ahead and finish tracing this. Let's do a little bit of detail back here. Add some more back here. Let's go ahead and get the jawbone here. Okay, and bring that down. Go ahead and trace the teeth. Let's zoom in, that way we can get a little better work down there. Back to the blob brush tool, and there we go. We'll get the gums, more of the teeth. Okay. We are using a tablet. It makes Adobe Illustrator so much easier and a little more of a natural feeling, comparable to to when you're drawing with a pen and pencil. Got a couple more teeth over here. Let's go ahead and close that tooth off. Close this one off. Let's go ahead and let's get the tongue out of the way. It's not an exact duplicate of the drawing, but for the purposes of this tutorial, it works. I hope you guys get the gist. Okay, and let's finish up the jaw line here. Move up a little bit and get the nose. Or where the nose used to be, I guess. Be a little more accurate. Okay, so double click the hand tool and it zooms it out. Zoom back in a little bit. We'll move it up right there, and let's go ahead and get the outside part of the rounded part of the skull. We're going to use the pen tool for that part. So we'll select the pen tool and we'll drop an anchor right here, come over here to the other side, and we'll drop another anchor right there. Let's zoom back out a little bit, go back up to the pen tool, hold down, and you have some other options in the tool chest that pops up right here. We're going to use the convert anchor point tool, and that path is still selected, so let's go right over the top of one of the anchors, press down, and now some handles come out on that anchor, and it allows us to edit that path. Make it a little bit more curvy to follow the skull. Whoop, a little too much. Control Z, that will undo the last move you did. Okay, so back to the convert anchor point tool. There we go. That's a little bit more round than if we would have just free-handed it with the blob brush tool. So what we need to do now is make sure that that path is comparable to the other detail and the skull face there. So let's hide the scanned drawing. Let's select that path. It's pretty close. We can make it a little bit thicker. So let's go ahead and open up the stroke panel. We have that path selected, and increase the weight of the stroke. I like that. That's a little bit better. It's a little bit thicker. Let's go. I guess we'll go back to 1. Okay, so zoom back into the skull, and let's move this path or anchor down to where it closes, butts up against the other line work there. Okay, close the stroke panel, open the layers panel back up, and we'll show the original drawing. We'll show the visibility of it, the eye icon. We'll let you change the visibility of that layer. Let's go back to the convert anchor point tool, and we'll bring that path out a little bit more to make it closer to the original drawing. There we go. Okay, that works. So now let's deselect that drawing, JPEG, scanned image, and let's go ahead and select everything in layer 2. If you click over here to the right of the layer, there's a little box that lights up, and it lets you know that everything in that layer is selected. Let's go to edit, copy, lock that layer, create a new layer, edit, paste in front. Let's do that one more time. Edit, a new layer, edit, paste in front. Okay, so this layer here, we're going to go ahead and use, we'll lock that layer, and we'll go back to layer 3. We're going to use layer 3 with the live paint bucket tool. Let's zoom in a little bit so we can get an idea. The live paint bucket tool will paint inside of groups and objects. We'll go ahead and change the fill to this light tan here. And everywhere that it lights up, it lets you know that you can paint inside of that area. Okay, that looks good for the skull. Let's go ahead and change it to black. We'll get the inside of the eyes, this mouth right here. Let's zoom in a little bit and get the detail in there in between the teeth. There we go. Okay, so let's change the paint bucket to red. Red teeth. Change the paint bucket again to this really light tan here. Give him some. No, we're gonna go ahead and go with gray. Let's go with light gray. See what that looks like for the teeth. Obviously, we don't want to leave him with white teeth. He probably hasn't been to the dentist in years. Okay, so let's take a look at this and see what we got. Lock the layer there, and there you have it. You can go ahead and print this on some t-shirts. We can export it as a JPEG, or you can print right from Adobe Illustrator. We're using CS4. You can print color separations. But for the most part, if we have halftones in our artwork, then we do export it as a JPEG, and we have better control with Adobe Photoshop as far as printing halftones. We also use Ultraceps. It lets you create halftones with no rip and output it directly to your inkjet printer. But I think we're going to go ahead and add a little more detail to this drawing. So let's lock all the layers there. Let's go to layer 5, and this will be some more detail on this layer. Let's go with a darker brown, and we have the blob brush tool. Let's zoom in here. Let's just add some more line work to this drawing. Give it a little more interesting look. Oh, that created a black stroke. Let's take the stroke off. Let's just go around the drawing. The more colors you add, the more screens and stations you will need on your press. Then you can just go around and add more detail at your will, wherever you'd like it. We'll just add some quick detail in here on the teeth. Add a little bit of lines to the eye. Give it some character. You could also be using black. If you wanted to change all this detail that we've already added, we can just open up the layers panel, select layer 5, and it shows you that everything is filled with this brown. Let's go ahead and change to black and see what that looks like. That's not bad, and that keeps the color of your artwork down. Something you can do on a full color press. On a black t-shirt, you could have a white underbase with this tan skull. The black, that could be the black of the shirt showing through. So you have tan, red, white underbase, and gray teeth. That's definitely printable on a black shirt. Okay, for other tips, including outputting your artwork, check out some of our other videos, and thanks for watching.